Hey everybody, it's Renato, and we are here at the Techonomy 2023 conference at Lake Nona, Florida, where the theme of the conference is artificial intelligence, the promise and the peril. Special guest here, Matt Webb, who is the owner of 1-800-Flowers in Tampa Bay. So I'm going to turn over to Matt and let him share a little bit more about himself and his business.
Okay. So I was in the IT business for almost 20 years in restaurants and then also in the flower industry. And so I have that background. Been in the flower industry since I was 18 years old, over 35 years. And when I got invited to this, I was like, wow, this is going to be really cool. And then I started thinking about it, and I'm like, there's some things that we need to worry about, these perils and the opportunities.
So you focus more on the peril?
No, I focus on both.
Okay.
The opportunities I get excited about that. But then, I think from a pragmatic human standpoint, there could be some problems.
Well, one of the problems I know that we raised, and this is like the second day of the conference.
Yeah.
So we had sessions last night.
Yeah.
Last night. And Matt, you were brave enough to ask the question, to raise your hand and say, okay.
Foolish.
No, I think it was a great question about the quality of data that may be being input into AI, which may result in equally bad quality data output coming out of AI. So bad data in, bad data out. Is that what were your concerns about asking that question?
Well, that's been the quandary of human civilization ever since the Gutenberg press. The data that you have in your database, if you run a question on it, and if it was put in just for somebody to key in data to get their paycheck, and the data wasn't true, the data you're going to get out is not going to be true. And you're going to make a decision based on that bad data, and it's probably going to be the wrong decision. And with AI, you don't even know what it's basing it on. You don't know the data that when you do it in your own company, you can look at the data that it was based on. With AI, you have no idea where that data came from and who put it in. Also, the AI algorithms are written by human beings with human bias and beliefs, and it might not translate to a different culture in your own country. That's one of the issues that was brought up, and some of the databases with like police officers, they were talking about AI is being used in police districts to send cars to certain areas just to sit there and lower socioeconomic areas, because the data in the AI ran on was that's where the crime was happening over the past 4 or 5 years. Well, there's been numerous lawsuits and data analysis done. Those police officers filling out those reports 4 or 5 years ago were just entering the data just to get a paycheck and just to make their department look good. Look at all the crime we're stopping. There was no crime. It just happened in Connecticut last year. Over 1 million tickets written to African American people that didn't even happen. They were just made up tickets. So bad data in can be true, really bad data out.
So let's focus a little bit more on the promise. As a retail shop owner, a flower shop owner, what are the promises that you're seeing in AI that you may be using, that you may consider using in your own business?
So when I got invited here, I started, when I drive around, I think, and as most people, I'm thinking, wow, what is the biggest challenge to a florist when they're talking to a customer? Let's say it's typically a man. When you're taking that order on the phone, a human being is taking it, and you get to the card message of the order, and the guy goes, duh. He doesn't know what to say. So then he comes up and he says, love you, Jerry. And okay, there was no personalization to that, whatever. So using AI for that, I was like, this is a great idea. But we have to give it the data to work with. I've been doing this for 35 years. There's been some pretty bad cards written that are not appropriate. So we have to make sure that the data that it uses to do that. But you could charge a guy that $2 to do that technology, and he'd be like, wow, you know, he'd probably be pretty proud of it. Even saying, hey, I used AI to write the card. How'd you like it?
You know, given your IT background and pretty in-depth knowledge of AI already, was there anything new that you learned at this conference that you want to share with your fellow florists?
Not that has to do with our flower business, but I like
sure.
the idea of being able to watermark documents or things that are generated with AI to tell us that this was generated with AI. So take it with a grain of salt or rose-colored glasses, however you want to deal with that. So that was an idea I hadn't even thought of. You know, how do we know where it came from?
Very interesting. Last question, and maybe the hardest. I can't guarantee you that. But what do you love about being a florist?
I love the challenge of running a flower business. Is very similar to restaurants. We have perishable products. We're dealing with the way things look like in a restaurant on the plate. It has to look good. It has to last. But it's a challenge every day. Every day is different. You know, you don't know when an employee doesn't show up. I frequently tell everybody it's all about plan B, and you better have a plan C. And if you get the plan D, good luck.
Well, Matt, appreciate very much for you spending the time here with us, talking about your experience at the Techonomy conference. And you know, hopefully you take back a lot of the learnings and implement them right away. So. All right, thanks everyone for joining us.
Bye.